Hi, Lee Phillips here. I want to talk about the pros and cons of land trusts. Now, there are half a dozen states that have land trust laws. Actually started up in Illinois a long time ago, the Illinois Land Trust, and it was kind of cool and kind of okay. And a couple other states picked it up, but the real estate investment gurus really picked it up. And they said, okay, this is cool. What we're going to do is we're going to have you put your piece of property into a land trust, and it's going to make you anonymous, and it's going to give you asset protection, and it's going to fry your breakfast, and it's going to give you mortgages, and it's going to solve all the problems of your life. Yeah, sure. I don't think so. So a land trust, unless you're in an actual state that has a land trust law, is simply a living revocable trust. And even in the states with land trust laws, it's basically just a living revocable trust, specifically set up to hold land. It's not as complex usually as the living revocable trust, because it doesn't say how it's going to be divided up when you die and all sorts of things that a living trust usually does. But it's a living trust. It's revocable. The word revocable is in it. Now, I read a trust the other day, and they were very careful not to say whether it was a revocable or an irrevocable land trust. Well, the court's going to say it's revocable. By definition, if it's revocable, zero, no, you can't have any asset protection in it. Because I get a judgment against you, I sue you, I say, okay, order him to revoke the trust and give me the property. Zero asset protection. A revocable land trust cannot give you any asset protection. So, no. Anonymity. Does it give you anonymity? Well, yeah, a little bit. You can name the land trust something, but the catch is the trustee's name has to go on the deed. So when you deed the property into the land trust, it's whatever it is, land trust, and they used to say, well, make it big, long names so that it truncates on the computer. The computer only takes 64 letters or whatever it is. Today they are big enough they take everything. But it always will have the trust's name, the date of the trust, and the trustee's name. Technically, the trustee owns it. So the trustee's name's got to be there. So people say, well, that means you can't have your name on as trustee. Get a straw man as a trustee, somebody a trust. Well, I don't want somebody managing my property, whether I trust them or not. I want my property to be managed by me. And by the way, this guy that I've got as trustee, the straw man, he may have more liabilities than I do. The fact that you are a trustee doesn't mean that the property of the trust is in any way connected to your liability problems. But your name's there. You can't be anonymous. Well, I got news for you guys. You ain't anonymous. We can tie it to the insurance policy. We can tie it to the taxes. We can tie it to the lease. We can tie it to this piece of property that you've put in a land trust 16 ways to breakfast. I had a guy that said, oh, I'm anonymous. I was trying to do asset protection. He hired me to do asset protection for him. I'm anonymous. I'm off the grid. Can't find me. I said, okay, give me the address of a property. Does your tenant know the address of where they live? And I don't care if it's in a land trust. I don't care if it's in an LLC. I don't care where it is. Do they know the address? Yeah. Give me an address. He gave me an address. It was actually in a land trust. And I came back with a 40-page printout. Now, general public can't do this. Lawyers can. Came back with a 40-page printout. I had every bank account he'd ever had, every insurance policy he'd ever had, every wife he'd ever had. I had everything this guy had ever done. Land trust, LLC, didn't matter. And I faxed it off to him, didn't hear back from him for a couple of days. And then he finally called me up and he says, well, anonymity doesn't work. Now what do we do? So the trust provides zero asset protection. Anonymity is a joke. Does it hurt to keep your name off of stuff? No, absolutely. Be as low profile as you can. Don't let the tenants know who owns it. Do what you can to keep a low profile. I like to do that. But I'm sorry, guys, you ain't anonymous. So if the trust doesn't give you any asset protection, and by the way, you could have an irrevocable trust, that would give you asset protection, but you'd have to give up all rights to it. You have to file a 1041 form. You don't pay the taxes anymore. The trust pays the taxes, and so on and so forth. Wait, that reminds me. They say, okay, make an LLC the beneficiary of this land trust. That'll give you asset protection. No, the beneficiary doesn't affect the asset protection of the trust at all. In fact, there's probably a spendthrift provision in it which says that the liabilities of the beneficiary don't affect the land trust. Well, it's vice versa. The beneficiary has no relevance, basically, as to whether or not there is any asset protection in the trust. So, no, you're not getting anywhere really by making the LLC the beneficiary of the land trust. It's just, they're running you around in circles, guys, when they're telling you to get the land trust. It's a revocable trust. Get my course on how to use a trust. It'll teach you about revocable trusts. It's free. It's easy. I don't share your emails. None of that garbage. Just pick it up and enjoy it. And I don't spam you. I don't give. If I'm lucky, I give you one email a month. So don't worry about that. By the way, subscribe and love us and all of that stuff. In fact, if you do like us, share it. So this is Lee Phillips, and I'm talking about pros and cons of land trusts. Do I tell people to use them? Yeah. You can go ahead and use them. Just know that it isn't going to do all of this magic stuff for you. You can season property with them. They have uses, but not asset protection, not privacy. It's mostly a myth. Lee Phillips, pros and cons of land trusts.